Good morning, Deed Grabbers. Good to see you guys here today for this edition of Goat Talk. Gosh, we've got a great show for you today. This is the second episode in our January series on how to make 2022 your best year ever in real estate. Today, we're super excited to have someone on here to talk to us about how to hire VAs in our business. So if you want to learn how to hire VAs to do all of that busy work for you, to free you up, to have more time to do the things that really generate income for you, it's finding leads, talking to sellers, and actually buying some houses, go grab some coffee or a soda or whatever it is that you have in the morning, some Mountain Dew, whatever it is you have to get started. And join us. You've got 45 seconds, and we're going to be back talking about hiring VAs today on Goat Talk. Morning, Deed Grabbers.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Goat Talk for January 20th. Gosh, it's already the 20th of January.
20th.
Yeah.
Phoenix. Sunny Phoenix.
We are in Phoenix.
We finally made it.
For our first Sub 2 Max Mastermind of 2022. So we're excited to meet some of our students here this weekend. But today, we're going to talk about hiring VAs. We've had a little experience with that, haven't we?
Well, yes.
Yes, we have, and that's why we wanted Alie on here as much
So
as
we
you
need help.
do, because we certainly need help. Listen, if you're on YouTube or Facebook and you're joining us, please put in the comments who you are, where you are. We'd love to say hello to you, say good morning to you. And don't forget, we're going to talk to Alie about how she hires VAs, but we're also going to take your questions. So make sure that you put your questions down there in the responses. Gosh, are you looking, Jody? We've already got a bunch of people saying hello. You want to say good morning to them?
Yeah. Yeah, I also noticed somebody didn't have sound. I hope that's not us.
Mm.
Oh, no, she said it's fixed. Okay, good. Tracy,
Okay.
you can hear us at first.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, what do we have? We got
Sam in here. He says
Sam
good morning.
Patterson.
Yeah.
And Tracy and Brian and Lisa Engelhardt. Let's see who we got here. Got some Facebook users.
Yep. Facebook users. You need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and authenticate your account so we'll know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So good morning, everybody.
Gallant.
I'm sorry?
Tom Gallant from Georgia, Kennesaw, Georgia. Do you know him? You know everybody in Georgia?
Do what?
Do you know everybody in Georgia?
I don't know everybody. I know a lot of people in Georgia, but not everybody. Okay. Okay. Tom, okay. He must have authenticated. We've got his name up here. Kevin, Tracy. Good to see you guys. Crystal, all of you all. Subscribe to us while you're on YouTube so you'll get notifications for all of these things. We don't want you to miss a single episode. Plus, we like to have the subscribers. There's Michael. Good morning, Michael. Good to see you.
No, Phil, you're good. Your name's showing up.
Okay, great. All right, we're not going to waste a whole bunch of time this morning. We're going to go ahead and bring Alie on. Alie is just a superstar in so many areas. She's a Sub 2 Max student. She and her husband, Corey, run, in addition to being investors, she runs a disposition business for real estate investors. Make sure you reach out to her and talk to her about this because the fees that she does this for are incredible. We're going to talk to her about starting to do some of this stuff for us. But Alie currently has 6 VAs. She's telling me they're onboarding 4 more. they dispo 25 to 50 properties per month. And you got to have people to do that sort of thing. So imagine being able to do that sort of thing with your business. So that's why we're going to bring her on today. So we're just going to go ahead and bring her in and talk.
I want to know everything about it.
A little bit. Good morning, Alie. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, welcome to Go Talk.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you on here. We had a lot of interest in this episode. A lot of people wanting to know how to get started with VAs. So tell us a little bit about you, how you got started, what you guys do, you and Corey, and we're excited to hear about it.
So Corey's a real estate appraiser, and he got into this. This was really his idea. I was in nursing and I trained horses, so I was not in real estate really at all, except helping him a little bit. So he kind of onboarded me. We decided to do some wholesaling at first, and he did new construction as well for a little while, and then we did a bunch of rehabs one year. It's like we did a year of wholesaling, a year of rehabbing. I decided I did not like the rehabbing part because I'm not a contractor, and I'm not good at managing contractors. I can tell you if it needs paint and flooring, but I can't tell you anything else. And if the power doesn't work, so we decided not to do rehabs. And then we got into short-term rentals, and we had some long-term rentals as well. So we turned some of our long-term into short-term, and we still have some long-term rentals. So that's really our main focus is we lend some money, we'll JV on some deals, and we do short-term and long-term rentals.
Okay, excellent. I know you'll probably get responses from people. You said you lend money. That's a big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have a ton of money though. We mainly JV with people with
Okay.
with our money. So
all right, cool. All right, we've we've got some questions we're going to get started with. One of the things we do for our Sub 2 Max students, we let them, if they've got questions, just come into the studio with us. We've got Ed here. We're going to bring Ed in. Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Good morning, William. How you doing? Hey, Jody, Alie.
How are you doing?
Hey, Ed.
Yeah,
I'm doing awesome. Ed, thank you. Hey, guys.
Did you have a question for Alie or anything this morning on VAs?
I'm just listening very carefully because I've had VAs before, and I kind of learned kind of the hard way on how to do that. So it would be interesting to see how. I'm ready to hire one right now because it's been about 2 years since I've had one.
You don't have any right now, Ed?
Not right now.
Okay.
I'm going to start that process.
Ed, you're a busy guy. You're working too hard. I know all the stuff you do. You need some VAs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I need a
well,
couple
hang out
VAs.
with us, and we're going to talk to Alie, get some questions. If you have something else, let us know. All right. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So we've all learned the hard way. If you've hired a VA, you have learned the hard way.
Absolutely.
And if you've just happened to pick up a good VA the first time, I'd like to know that secret because that's never worked.
We didn't.
For me. Yeah. And I think that's happened with most people. And a lot of people will give up on it. They give up on it because they're like, I've tried it, didn't work, not doing it again.
Right.
And I've been there.
It's going from that question. Let me ask you this, and you guys put your questions in here. We're going to get to those. If you're getting started, even if you're an experienced investor, because for years I was a one-man show. I mean, really, I did it all because I operated under that. I can't find anybody that can do the job that I can do. And that may be true, but there are times you need help. So if you're getting started, what in your experience is the best way to get started on hiring a VA? How do you get going with that?
So referrals, number one. Go find. Okay, so for instance, if I am looking for a VA, I'm going to go to someone who has a great VA, who has been having great experience with their VAs, and I'm going to ask them, hey, do you think that one of your VAs could train a VA for me? Because the thing is you want to find someone whose business is running smoothly and efficiently, and figure out how and who's doing that for them, and have them duplicate it for you.
Right.
And
That
you know,
sounds.
your business is going to be a little bit different, but if they duplicate theirs, then once that VA kind of onboards with you, then you can make the adjustments you need to fit your
Right.
business.
And sometimes it's the subtleties, and you just said something that makes a lot of sense. If I know you've got a great VA that's doing a great job for you, and I ask about them a lot, what I find is a lot of times people are very protective of that VA.
Mhm.
If you say, "Can they do work for me?" They're like, "Well, but
Absolutely
can they
not.
train mine?" Now that's a different story, right
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you don't share VAs. When you get a good VA, you don't share
Right.
them.
That's
You
right.
want to pay
You don't
them
want them to be
well
too busy.
enough to where someone else isn't going to come in and take them from you. I was
That's
actually
right.
just talking to Corey the other day about that.
For sure. I know I said something in our Max group a few weeks ago about a cold caller we had hired that was doing a bang up job. And one of the students took the initiative and went and found this guy. I'm telling you, he sent me his screen. He said, "This is him, isn't it?" I hired him too. So yeah, you've got to be careful with that stuff. And
Yeah,
of
very
course, I
much
didn't
so.
mind. The guy had plenty of time. He's only calling a certain number for us, but yeah, good VAs are hard to find. So referrals are number one. If nobody will share or you don't know somebody, what's the next step?
So if you don't know someone, is that what you just asked?
Right. If you don't know someone who has a VA or they won't give you information or whatever, what would be your next step if you didn't have a referral?
This is where the problems start, and I hate to put it this way, but this is where you're going to have to be vetting a VA until you find your perfect match.
Right.
That's just how it is. And I hate to put it that way. I did it that way, and it's not a fun experience.
Right.
So you just have to
Um,
start from scratch.
it's a lot of wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can
Right.
find that perfect that person that has the great VA, you know, another thing is too is I had built a team, but I did not have that one VA that was on my side
Mm-hmm.
who took care of me.
Right.
And so none of my VAs, the team of VAs would not have, they could train your VAs to do what they were doing, but they couldn't train your VAs to be your number one VA. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Everyone needs a number one VA
mm-hmm.
that's going to take care of you. Okay, in your business. They need to love your business as much as you do. They need to be able to be you when you can't be there. Everybody, I think most everybody has experienced COVID. It is very hard to be present. So you need that person to come in and be able to be you. I would not give that responsibility up to just anyone. This
Right.
takes time, and it takes just the little cues that you hear from them. Like, for instance, my number one says, "Alie, you need to be doing this today. Why are you over there doing that? You know,
Wow.
this is your priority today." Or we don't need to be spending money on this person right now because this is what we need to be focusing on. So that is your person.
Right.
Your person needs to come in and manage you, because us as entrepreneurs, we see squirrels all over the place.
Oh yeah.
We need that one person to come in and focus us and tell us, this is what is making us money. This is what's paying the bills. So we need to be focusing on this today. We can work on that stuff, or, explore those new awesome ideas another day. You know, when
So
we've
is this
completed this task.
person like that right away? Is that just their personality, or is this
Yes.
like something that builds, like as they learn the business?
I tried to build this person. It did not work.
Right.
They are amazing part of our team. They are not that person.
Right.
So this person, when they come in knowing that and the thing is, I didn't hire this person to be my person. I hired her to come in and just handle follow-ups. And just some of our team meetings, she just took over and managed. She came in and said she wasn't even my person at this time, and she was telling me, like, "Alie, aren't you supposed to be doing this today and not this?" And she was making comments like, "Alie, you need someone who can come in and do this and you not have to do it. You not have to be here. You can go do other things. Let us do this." Those cues, I was like, "Are you my person?"
Like, yes.
Like, are you my person? So anyways, and yes, she has become my person. She's on
Right.
all my meetings. She manages everyone. If something in the meeting has gone south and someone says, hey, this has really dropped, something's not being done here, she will contact the whole team right then and say, who did this and who's going to be responsible, and fix this right now.
Right.
Does she
Well,
have a
that's-
sister?
Yeah, for sure. What's her name? Where's
Yeah.
she? No, seriously, that is something to aspire to, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Awesome.
But for us just getting started, and just a quick question on this person, what can you expect to pay this person?
So I think I
Unless
can pay
that's
someone.
classified.
No, it's not. You can find these VAs for between $4 and $6 an hour.
No, not I'm talking about person number
The
one.
person.
Is
Person
that
number one.
that person too?
Person number one.
Oh my gosh.
But let
we're
me
gonna
tell
have
you
a
this
series
too.
on VAs.
Let me tell you this too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to Corey the other day about this. This person will be the person running our business, and so she will get paid more.
Right.
This is where we're at right now, and I pay bonuses because I don't want my people leaving me, especially if they're people that are a really great asset to our team. So I pay bonuses regularly. But for her, she'll also be on that bonus, but she'll be getting paid more as well.
Okay.
We have one like that. We have one that's great, but he only covers one area.
Mm-hmm.
He just does the web stuff.
But if you have them trained and they are an asset to your team and you don't want to lose them, pay them, because they in the U.S. you're going to be paying someone $20, $25 an hour to do that.
Tell him a response we get when you give him his bonus.
Oh, our web guy is amazing. He's out of India, and we send him bonuses from time to time. Just even if we just didn't have any work for him for a little bit, just so he knows we're thinking about him or whatever. I mean,
That's
you can
awesome.
send this guy $50, literally. And he's just his email is just so thank you so much. The appreciation just in a kind comment to him is amazing.
He's got all kinds of it.
So much
he adds all the emojis and the exclamation point. Thank you, sir, so much. He's so cute.
Well, it's loyalty on both ends, right?
Right.
So if you want to make sure if he's someone you don't want to lose, then you got to do what you got to do to make sure they stay around.
Right. So I guess that would answer Phil's question. Do you prefer U.S. or foreign-based VAs? It sounds like you guys prefer foreign-based.
Honestly, I don't have. It's not that I have a preference. And I don't mind paying. I do not. If I find that person, I do not mind paying. That my people have just happened to be, because my person hires everyone else for me now, and so they just happen to be, foreign.
Okay.
So
Tammy.
How'd you happen to find her? Sorry about that.
No.
Was this just one that you started from scratch at first, or?
No, it was a referral from someone on our team. Because I was like, hey, let me know if y'all know anybody, and we do marketing as a huge part of our business. And so she actually works full-time for a marketing firm. And she works full-time for me, and which is very crazy because I was like, how are you going to work full-time for me and someone else? She does it.
Nice.
Okay.
She does it. And she works overtime. I mean, she is, that person is very important if you're trying to grow your business. And I mean it 100%. I didn't realize that.
Tammy's comment here. Good morning from Orlando. Wow, that's amazing advice. Look for that person instead of building them. Mind blowing. Okay, I agree. Absolutely. It's a great tip. Tracy had a question here on the bonus thing. What are you rewarding with the bonus and how much in dollars?
So at first I was paying way too much for bonus. I didn't realize. I didn't know what the going rate for bonuses were. Now I give them a day paid. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if they're an 8-hour employee, then I pay them 8 hours for a bonus.
Okay.
I think we paid them a week. I think we paid them a week pay occasionally.
Mhm.
And the thing is I think it really depends on what they're doing for you too.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Tim's got a great question here that we were actually going to circle back around to. For someone like me who still works a W-2 full time and hasn't been able to work real estate full time, would a VA be a good idea, or should they wait until they have more deals in the pipeline? Just me speaking from our experience, I would say, knowing what I know now, that I would hire them to do just some of the very basic routine stuff, so you can focus on the stuff that really makes money. Would you agree with that, Alie?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They can be building your business while you're working your W-2. So at some point you can do real estate full time if that's your goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think they're looking for more clarification on what you pay the bonuses for.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and if they're based on deals or something else.
So when we close properties, we pay bonuses to everyone on the team, but it does also depend on, some people get 2 days pay, some people just get the 1 day pay. It depends what they're doing on the team, and they know that up front. Like this, it's not like, oh, they got paid more than I did, we give like birthdays, Christmases. We give a day off for their birthday. They can pick. We give a day off for Christmas, any holidays, and they're paid.
Right.
So they get a day. So those are bonuses. We consider those bonuses, and any deals closed.
Is there any specific period, like a probationary period they work to get you results before you start these bonuses? Or is that something you just do out of the gate to keep them interested?
If they were not on the team when we started marketing that property, they don't get paid for that property.
Okay. So the bonus is really based on the property getting moved.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Correct. Okay. All right. So
because it is a team effort.
An accomplishment-based sort of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And then, like I said, days and birthdays, we give bonuses. Now that, like, if someone started with us and their birthday was a week later and they've been working, we will pay the bonus for that.
Okay. Joni's got a great question. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Joni. Going with Tim's question, what task did you start out hiring VAs to do? What if you're a new investor, or even if you've been around but you're just getting started in the VA thing, what tasks should you hire to let them take on first?
So when we first started, we had so many tasks, we had no idea what we needed to hire for. Okay. So everyone was hiring for cold calling. So we said, okay, well, let's hire a cold caller. Didn't work out, but we did it. And I'm not saying it won't work out. We just did not know how to vet and train properly. So we hired for a cold caller, which I think is a great thing. But if you aren't able to do the follow-up on it, don't hire a cold caller. It's a waste of money. So just make sure if you don't want to do the cold calling, I highly suggest hiring a cold caller. Just make sure you can do the follow-up when you get good leads. Because if not, you're wasting your money. And we really figured that out because we didn't have the manpower ourselves to do the follow-ups. So we kind of messed up there. Your tasks, like if you want somebody to catch up on your personal stuff, pay your bills, whatever, you can do that too. So I think it depends on what are your goals? What's overwhelming you right now? And what do you want being done while you're at work every day? Do you want to hire somebody to do your follow-ups and you do the cold calling? Sometimes I think that's a great idea. So it really depends on what your goals are with your business. Like for us, our VAs do everything, but we, for our marketing and dispositions, we don't obviously do outbound calling. We don't do any cold calling. So, but they handle all of our incoming texts, all of our incoming calls, all of our follow-ups, which we have. I bet you we get hundreds of messages a day, hundreds.
So how many VAs do you have right now?
We have 6.
And does your one girl manage the other ones?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that's what I was saying. So when I'm in my meetings and all, she sits in on my meeting. We also have a marketing girl that sits in on our meetings, and like with clients and all. And they go back to their team and to the team and figure out like if something needs to be fixed. They fix it. They make sure gets fixed right then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and because it's very serious. I mean, if we don't get paid, they don't get paid.
Right.
You know, so they know when, and I do suggest that because I didn't used to do that, having clients in on meetings and calls. If you're buying properties, have them in on calls so they know what you're asking, what you're wanting to know. Because if not, you cannot explain it to them. They've got to feel it. They've
Right.
got to hear it and they've got to feel it, or they don't know. And I think that's where we go wrong a lot, where we hire a VA, we expect them to know everything, we hand it over and we say, do it. And then when it's not done a week later, or you feel like you're wasting your money because you haven't bought a property or you haven't sold a property, you blame it on them and you fire them.
Okay.
They've got to
So
know expectations.
right. So if you're new to getting started with this VA thing, if you hire them to do cold calling for you, what other? I mean, I know for us, our initial list said just the dull routine things: pulling lists, cold calling, social media posting, that sort of thing. Any other recommendations for tasks to get started with a VA?
If you already own properties, you can get them to do all your marketing content. You can get them to research the best places to market your properties, because some properties are not investor properties. Some properties you may, if you're wholesaling it, or maybe you bought it a little bit, you know, you paid too much for it, it's not going to be an investor property. So you can hire someone to do the research on what groups are going to be best to share this in. They can do outreach on Facebook. You have to be very careful, and I could talk on this all day long about Facebook algorithms and how to get around it, and the best things to do. So, but they can figure all that out for you. They can open your Facebook profiles. They can and season them for you. They can do your pages. There's so much. Anything, almost everything you can hand over. My VA handles my email inbox. I mean, they can do everything. You just have to be very specific and tell them what your expectations are for them, because they're human just like us. They have to have things explained. We have procedures for everything. And if we don't have one, my assistant, she's like, we need a procedure for this. And she does it.
Right. That takes us to Matt's question. Do you think you need to have standard operating procedures in place before hiring, or just have them create them as they go?
So that is a really good question. I
It's
spent
really
a
good.
lot of time on SOPs that did not matter, because as your business is evolving, your SOPs are going to change so much, because you've been doing everything yourself, and your VA is going to come in and know 100 better ways to do it.
Right.
So I would
That's what we were
have,
counting on.
yeah, exactly. So I would have an outline of what you want done and let them know how you do it, but then also be open to it changing. Like, let them know, like, if I am not a creative person, so I say that I'm not creative. So if you see something that we could be doing better, please, please, please let us know, and
Yeah.
let's make the changes. Because the
Right.
sooner you make those changes, the better your business will be. And they have
Right.
great. I mean, my team has great ideas. They bring some great creative things to the table. So, I mean, so the SOPs, I'd have an outline, and then I would let them know what you do every day and go from there. Another thing I do is I have a list that I do, like, as I do tasks daily. We use Asana, and so I have a board that I actually move stuff over if I can hand it off.
Mhm.
It's my handoff board. So things that I'm doing that I don't need to be doing, someone else could be doing, I move it over to my handoff board.
Okay. So I had a question down the road about tools, but what you're talking about sounds a lot like what we're using, Trello. Is that, I mean, are you
Yeah,
familiar with
yep,
that? Yeah. Okay.
yep. Asana and Trello, they're very similar.
Okay. Um, Neil had a question. Where do you suggest to find the person? Okay. I mean, and I think you said earlier that that is something you hire your VAs and that person sort of bubbles to the surface.
Yep.
Is that
That's pretty accurate. So what I would do now, if I had no VAs, I didn't know even what site to go look on, I would talk to people and that have VAs, and I would literally start asking, like, do you think that they could find me and train me a VA?
Mhm.
I mean, there's VA companies, right, that will get you a VA for whatever you're looking for. And I can give you a couple of those companies. But to be honest, the best that has come for me are through other people.
Right. Well, Matt had asked that question. Do you recommend using a company or just doing it on your own? We looked into companies and just felt like we would have better results. Just trying to find somebody on our and that goes back to the entrepreneur thing about I can do it better than anybody else can. But in your experience, because you've been through a lot of them and obviously done both, do you agree with that? It's best to find your own and train them your own way.
Okay. For cold calling, I actually have a company that I would use for cold calling, list pulling, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me because I am not going to be able to train a cold caller.
Right.
So I think it depends. What are your gifts?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't know anything about that area that you're hiring them for, talk to someone else who maybe specializes in that.
Right.
Could we go back to that cold calling thing? Did you say like you would have your VAs listen in while you talk to sellers or buyers or whatever?
Yes.
Like technically, how do you do that? Like
so you
like
can have them. So they have a Skype number. Like they can get Skype numbers, and you can just add them in.
Like a 3-way call or something.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And
That's
Zoom
a great
calls.
idea.
Right.
So I'm more referring to Zoom calls. Like I try to get everything on a Zoom because you can record it too.
Right. Yeah, I know we learned about something fairly recently. I think that I shared with you guys in the group about having your VAs log on to Zoom, especially when they're new. And then you can observe their work. They can screen share what they're doing. If they're cold calling, the cold caller that we hired, we actually had him log on to Zoom. We had the monitor up. We could watch, listen to them interacting with the people.
He could ask
that
questions.
worked out really well. That worked out.
Yeah,
really
I think that's a great idea. When you said that was a great idea.
Yeah. Tammy had a question. This was her follow-up. She said, do you 1099 VAs, even overseas VAs?
I have not, but I think that we will have to do that this year.
Making all that money now.
I think it.
Ask your tax professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. Lisa had a question. How do you communicate with your team? She says she uses WhatsApp and Zoom, but there has to be a better way.
I can't hear.
I can't hear you.
I muted myself. Sorry.
There you go.
We use Facebook and Asana.
Uh-huh.
And they can call through Facebook too. That's another thing. So if they're like, hey, like they reach out to me and they'll say, can we jump on a call to clarify something? They'll call me through Facebook and we text all day, message back and forth through Facebook because it comes to my phone too, just like WhatsApp.
Right.
I think somebody asked Asana. Is it ASANA?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt said, how do you trust they'll perform and do the work? This goes back to a question that was asked earlier that we just hadn't got to about, tell us about some of the bad experiences you've had. One of the first VAs I ever hired was for podcast work. And I'll tell you, this girl was great. I mean, she was super smart. She was very intuitive. She had a lot of good ideas. But when my focus got away, and I'll just be transparent here, when I met Jody, my focus moved away from everything that I did other than Jody. So, but she was, my average podcast
go back
was
to work.
taking, and she was in Sri Lanka. And I was paying her, what were we paying her? $12 an hour or something. So, I mean, we paid her, well. but that was her rate she requested, and I just needed a podcast person, so I hired her. I paid her what she asked for, and my average
She did a great job, though. I mean, she
was
was
taking
really
about 3 hours to produce. But by the time I looked up, came up for air after I met Jody, it was taking about 8 hours per podcast. Okay. So, there was a little bit of creep going on in there with, oh, this takes longer or whatever. So you've got to pay attention to what they're doing. And to Matt's question, how do you trust they'll perform? And I'll tell you that Zoom thing, for our VAs that we hired worked out really well. I could watch his screen. I know if he's actually working on our stuff the whole time he bills me for.
He could ask questions if he had them, like just look up and ask. Yeah.
Yeah, because we just have it on while we're working, so it's almost like we're in the same office, basically. But what do you recommend as the expert?
So we had hired someone for our cold calling, and super nice guy, and he was very loyal to us. He had an accent, and a very strong accent, which unfortunately I do not recommend that. He didn't know how to communicate with Americans very well, as far as our social cues are very different, right? So I'm saying this because we had no results from that. So the way you know if they're performing is if you're getting results. If you're not getting results, then there's a miscommunication somewhere that needs to be addressed, or they're just not your person. They're not a good fit for your team if they're not performing for you. So whatever results are in whatever, whether it's acquisitions, dispositions, marketing, closing, whatever that means for you, whatever results are for you, if you're not getting them, then there needs to be some adjustments made.
Okay. Sam asked, what systems or primary platform are you giving VAs access to?
Everything. So we use FreedomSoft. So I have someone who that's her only job is our FreedomSoft. So that's our CRM. If you haven't heard of FreedomSoft, it's amazing. We do our calls, texting, emailing, campaigning through FreedomSoft. So we have one person that handles FreedomSoft. My Facebook, they have complete access to my Facebook. They also open and season other Facebook accounts for us. Okay. They respond to just about all of my messages on Facebook, Instagram, Craigslist. When I say everything, my Canva, my email, my drives, they have access to everything. If I feel like, which I haven't, but I think if I felt like something fishy going on, and I will say I believe my right hand would catch it before I did, they would be out immediately.
So do you
somebody
just
asked her,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, somebody asked, how do you give them access safely? Like, do you use, what do we use again?
So safely, there's really no safely. You have to be able to kind of trust that, things are they're gonna do what they're supposed to do. Now, we use Team Viewer because if you're using someone from another country, you're going to get blocked a lot with your posting. So if we're using a platform that is going to block us, we use Team Viewer, and you can have a laptop open, and they just go into the laptop and use that IP address. So they're not blocking up your computer that you're working on.
That was our next question.
Yeah, so they can go in and use your laptop to post, so it's coming from your IP versus overseas.
So you're not using LastPass or anything like that to give them access. They just have your login stuff, and they just go in and do it.
We have a master sheet that we change passwords on all the time, and we have every single website we use is on there with logins and passwords.
Because, that's something you worry about. I mean, if you have somebody go rogue on you or something that, man, they could create a problem. We had a VA I'm telling you, I could give you a list of mistakes, okay, but things not to do. But I don't know how she did it, and I really don't think she did it on purpose. But she lost our Instagram account. She got what do you call it? It shut down. I mean, they didn't shut it down, but it was like closed. And
luckily, we didn't have much on it yet, but
we didn't have much social media then. But I mean, it could have had 1 million followers, and it got closed. So we started using LastPass.
Was she posting on it?
I don't know if she ever actually did, but she had our login information, and coincidentally, it was closed. Like we had closed it down.
So let me tell you this too, because it'll happen with Facebook. Mm-hmm. It only takes one weird thing for Facebook or Instagram to catch, and they'll shut you down. So she might have not even shut it down. She might not have pushed the delete button. They might have picked up her IP address and known it was different from the IP address that opened it, and they shut you down.
Right. So what is the solution for that? If I've got a guy working in Nigeria and I want him to access all this stuff for me, and obviously if something happens, I mean, something is a solution, because we see people with accounts that have 12 people that access it all over the world. So what's the solution to that?
So number one, team viewer.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's an IP issue, they can go through your computer and just work through your computer. And I think numerous people can do it at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I recommend you having a separate computer for that, because if not, it'll block up all of your stuff, so you won't be able to actually work. It depends what kind of marketing you're doing, but we have numerous accounts, numerous profiles, and my profile is duplicated into those profiles. So if they shut down my account, we have a duplicated account. So all of our accounts are duplicated.
And I'm totally fried right now.
I know.
It works.
So if we message you on Facebook right now, is it somebody else answering us?
No. No, I'll tell you why. Because if it doesn't have to do with a property, they're not going to respond to you. Mm-hmm. It'll be me.
Right. Okay.
That's how we determine if because that's another thing. So I'll have people that I'm friends with, and so it doesn't come through Marketplace. It comes through my messenger, not the Marketplace messenger. And so I'll be like, I'll have to say, hey, can you look through all my messages and make sure they've been responded to?
Right.
So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They try to give me my privacy. We are actually trying to get all of our marketing as far as business and properties off of my account. We've just decided that's probably something we should do. So.
Okay. So Joni has a question: do you use an app to monitor task at all?
Asana.
Okay, Asana.
And I saw Ed, he uses Monday. I did look into Monday. Asana just fit us better. But there's a lot of different kind of apps out there you can use.
Okay. Carlos says some VAs don't like using your tools, CRMs, etc. I would say that is not your VA.
Yep, I was just going to say that is too damn bad. I guess you're not getting your paycheck then.
That's right. James says we're building out a training course on LearnDash with questions at the end of each section. I'm not really sure what LearnDash is, but tell us more about that. Facebook user, how much would you offer to pay the referrals VA to train your new VA?
They'd get their hourly pay. So you would pay. So if they're somebody 5 hours a day for 3 days, you're going to train them. I mean, you're going to pay them that.
I'll tell you what we started doing. In the churn of VAs, which was bad for us when we were getting started because probably we were poor trainers. But what we started doing was, okay, if I'm going to hire somebody to be a VA to do this task for me, the next time I do, I'm just going to video me doing it, explain it along the way, and then put that on that Trello task board. So they can just click on the video. Okay, if today their job is to do X. This is how to do X, so they know how to go in. Do you recommend something like that at all?
Absolutely. So, all of our procedures, so we use Loom,
Mhm.
and all of our procedures have the video. So, in our procedures, if we have 11 procedures, every procedure, 1 through 11, has what you do. So, say follow up Facebook messages. Next to it has a video.
Right. Okay. And that accomplishes a couple of things. One, it trains this guy, but if something happens and he goes poof tomorrow, the training's already done for the next person.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you don't have
Exactly.
to do that each and every time.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great. I'm glad we're starting to do some things right anyway.
I know, right?
Right. Um,
Uh,
okay. Rini says this session's very good. Excellent presentation. Hey, great. We appreciate that. Allie's great.
I almost feel like we need to have a part 2 for this.
I was already thinking that. I'm already so would you come back and talk more about
Sure,
this?
I could talk about this stuff all day.
Okay,
I love it.
all right,
I
There's
love
so
it.
many questions here that I don't think we'll get to them all.
cool. Blaine says, can we talk to you about your service and how we'd work together? I'm guessing that's a yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do they get in touch with you, Allie? What's the best? Well, Blaine, you're in Max. All you got to do is tag Allie. Okay. She's right there in the group.
I'll give you I don't know what the best way to put my information out. I have a
Yeah.
Calendly link too, but maybe I'll post in the group. Would that work?
Okay. Yeah, that'll
Okay.
be great. And listen, Blaine, just so you know, I can't remember if we announced it or not, but Allie's going to start doing a training session inside the Max group every month. So she's going to be right there to answer all your VA questions, man. We're really, I'm looking forward to that class.
Me too.
Yeah, we're gonna be there for all those. Matt, I've heard good things about Andrea.
Yes, she's great.
Calling.
She's great. She
Okay.
would be someone I would if you wanted to go with a company, I would recommend her. She's great.
Okay.
I've actually talked to her. We've hung out. We had pedicures together. She's
Okay.
great.
Awesome. Tammy, hey, Tammy, good to see you. Do you have a resource for employment contracts with non-compete, non-disclosure clauses? Do you guys use those?
For our VAs?
Yeah.
No.
No.
We just pay them well.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. James says Slack's good for communication. Appreciate that. Zach, where are you recording from, William? The Fortress of Solitude. Listen, Zach, we are in Phoenix. We're having our mastermind here this weekend for our Sub 2 Max.
We're hanging out in the lobby.
Yeah, man, we're just chilling out here. It's
I
good
talked
see
to
you
Nick.
here.
He's coming to speak, huh?
Nick, yeah, he will be here. Yes. he
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah.
So Zach, good to see you. Hey, listen, we're going to be done with this weekend. I want to talk to you next weekend, guy. So good to see you on here. Matt, do you try to automate everything with a company like web scraping other than having a VA manually do that task?
We use Zapier, and honestly, like in our emails, for instance, let me give you a really good example. In your email, you can automate a lot too, and they have a lot of resources in there. So we use Writebox, and if we have a person that's going to look at a property on Saturday, we don't give codes until an hour before they go, and like lockbox codes. So say they contact us on Monday and they say we want to look at it Saturday. I set up that email, or my assistant will set up the email, whoever, and we'll schedule it for Saturday morning an hour before they said they're going to be there.
Okay.
So that kind of stuff we do. But as far as automation, I actually have a presentation on this, but you can filter, like for emails, you can filter your emails out, and that's automatic. So you're not getting stuck in like your coupons, like, oh, I got a coupon at Walmart, let me see what this coupon, and then you get distracted for the next 3 hours, So there's a ton of automation you can use. We have our CRM. We use Zapier for our CRM. You can have automation for forms filled out on your websites. It can go straight to your whatever spreadsheet you use for that form. There's so much automation you can use.
Allie,
I try to automate everything.
We've been resisting using Zapier for a long time. Are we just dumb for resisting?
I think, the biggest thing is figuring out what you want to be able to automate and what you feel comfortable letting go of and not thinking about.
Because
That was the hard part for
everybody
me.
says you can use this if you have Zapier, and we're like, oh, forget it then.
It's
I'm-
super easy to set up.
I'm thinking we should hire a VA that knows how to use Zapier.
Me too.
I'm thinking that's the ticket right there.
Agreed.
Yeah. Let's see. Matt says, how much growth did you get when you hired the VAs, I guess, as opposed to doing it yourself? All the things you're talking about, you've got 6, you're bringing on 4 more. I'm guessing you wouldn't be moving 25
Let
to
me
50
tell
properties
you
a
what
month.
doesn't happen when you don't have VAs. Your company stops.
Mhm.
So when you hire for us, when we hired, we grew a lot. We outgrew, and everything stopped because then your VAs are overwhelmed with work, and they can't take on anymore. So I think it depends on how much growth you want, because if you're trying to grow, I would hire one person more. So if you're at your max, then you don't have enough people.
Right.
You need to
Okay.
be able to pass on tasks. If you do, if you get an extra house, if you get an extra client, you need to have that extra VA already trained and ready for you.
Okay, great. Tammy says, yes, part 2, please. All right, so that's a
Sure, we will.
done deal. We're definitely doing part 2. Renee says she's going to go boil an egg after this. Thanks. It's very funny. Okay, guys.
Make some bald eggs.
Jody likes to harass me while I drive.
You know what I'm doing is I'm only just I'm teasing you about you making fun of my accent. I really don't have a problem with yours.
Hey, Tammy, again, substitute max student, you're going to get to just tag Allie. I'm sure she'll be glad to help anybody inside the group. She's going to do a class
Absolutely.
every course now.
And I'd love to
Joe
know,
Moore-
like, get questions for the sessions that I'm doing. Please, like, send them to me so I can prepare them for you, and maybe even prepare some documents and resources.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let's see. More on the Facebook algorithms would be great. I agree. We've got to talk to you about that, because we just had our VA had his second account shut down last night. So
Well, I don't think he's shut down totally. I just think
blocked.
he's in jail.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is one of our accounts did too.
Yeah.
This morning I got a notification, so it must be Facebook must be going through we're just kicking these people out.
He said he needed to have like some his verification or something of his account or whatever, and it seemed to be a problem. So I don't know what the workaround is for that, but
Yeah, we get that regularly. Really, what you do is you have to just change your password.
Yeah. Tracy says, did we get the message she's going to be in Phoenix? We did, Tracy, and we're looking forward to seeing you here. So we'll see you tomorrow.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, man, we can't wait. Okay.
This sounds like a great time.
Yeah. So another vote for the algorithms. Okay. Now we've had so many questions. I know you wanted to share something on here, Allie. Did you got something you wanted to talk about? Some kind of you had a screen share that you wanted to bring
I did,
in?
but I'm going to save it.
You're going to save it? Okay,
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I think that was that's going to be like an hour plus presentation, I think. So
okay.
I think that's going to.
We may have to do a month-long series on VAs. and how all of that works. It sounds like
we're working on part 3 now.
Yeah. So Dave asked, do you use VPNs for your VAs? That's where that team viewer comes in, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. So Team Viewer, and it's free as long as you use it for personal. So
right. Okay. So let me ask you this, Allie. If you're a new real estate investor, maybe you have a full-time job, you want to get started, you're overwhelmed by all the things that have to be done, you've got a budget. Let's say you've got a $50 a week budget, okay, for a VA. And sounds to me like you, based on the numbers you threw out, you could hire somebody to work 10, 15 hours a week for that. So you get a lot done. Where would you start right now to get the most movement in your business with a $50 a week budget for a VA?
Bringing someone in. So the hard part is for me now, looking back, like I said, the first VA we hired was a cold caller, and that didn't work for us.
Right.
If you're prepared to hire a cold caller and you can do the follow-ups and you're going to commit to that,
Right.
cold caller.
Right.
If you, because I don't think people don't realize, they're like, I'm going to hire a cold caller and we're going to get all these leads in, and it doesn't really work like that. You'll end up with you'll spend all night following up, and guess what? People aren't going to answer their phones after 9:00. So if you're working all day, you have to set time, and you're going to have to do this every day. When they get a lead, you're going to have to call them that day. And if you can't commit to that, or you don't have the time to do that, that's not where you need to hire. Then you need to be doing those calls on the weekends yourself, and then have your VA following up with them during the week.
Right.
So I think it really it's going to depend on what your goals are and your time commitment. Because working full time and then having to come home and work 3 or 4 more hours is a lot. You're going to miss out on your family time. So, you really have to figure out your goals and then fit your VA into there to where they can help you get there.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so if you're just a one man, you think that's the biggest, and I agree, making contact with sellers is definitely the thing that's going to move the needle the fastest. So I would agree with that cold calling thing. But you're right, you have to call them back fairly quickly. I know we get a list every day from our cold caller that says, I called 250 sellers today, and I've got 12 leads here. 3 are definitely open to seller financing, and with details on each call. But his response to them, if he speaks to them on the phone, is that someone from our office will call you back within 24 hours. That's his response. So that would give you a little bit of leeway if you couldn't call them back that night. If you get to them the next morning or lunchtime or something like that, I definitely agree with you on reaching out for sellers. Let's see. We've got a couple more questions here. Have you tried Fiverr to find VAs? I will say myself, we've actually, the 3 VAs that we have right now all came from Fiverr, and we love them. We tried Upwork over and over and over and over, and it was a fail every single time. What about you?
Fiverr, we found our cold caller off of Fiverr. And like I said, he was very nice. I think that he did what he said he could do, but it didn't work out, unfortunately, because the accent. We had people just torturing him over the accent.
Right. I agree. I think a heavy foreign accent, a slight one, is okay, in my opinion. The one that we've got now.
Yeah, he definitely has one, but you can understand him.
Yeah, he's simple. You know me, I have with my speech issues anyway. Okay. I have a hard time one of the ones that we have right now, I have a hard time understanding him. But our caller, like I said, you can tell he has a slight accent, but I've never heard any of his recordings, so I think that's key for sure.
And so none of ours have accents.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't.
Right. Okay.
Because, it just didn't fit our business. But I know that there's a lot of real estate investors that have VAs that they all have accents, and it works for them. I think it just depends on what you're doing and how you're making it work for you.
Right. Vincent asked, what dollars and SMS systems do you use? We just hired a caller that had his own dollar. What do you guys
used Freedom Soft.
Yep.
We didn't use any dollars. We used Freedom Soft.
Right.
And you can record through there so you can hear what their calls are.
Right. Do you let your VA pull the list? What service do they use to do that? Whatever.
I don't know who we started pulling our own lists, and now we have someone who's trained that pulls lists for us. Yeah. She knows the criteria. If we're looking for land, she knows that criteria. If we're looking for single family, she knows that criteria. So it's just training. You've got to train.
Yeah. Right. Just make that video.
Yeah.
That video.
Yeah. And have a process.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tom asked what dollar that our VA uses. I'm not sure if Harry uses a dollar. I know when I listen, I mean, he dials, they answer. He says he has one, but I'm not really sure because that information is just not important to me. I don't do it. I don't use it. I don't care. As long as he just produces the results. So that's okay. And where are your VAs from? We got all three of ours from Fiverr. I've had my web guy for
I'm not
3
sure if you
years.
meant what country.
Oh, the web guy is from India, the cold caller's from India, and the general VA that just does postings and Word doc stuff, just
Admin
general
stuff.
task. He's in Nigeria, actually. So,
And we're onboarding. All of ours are in the Philippines, and we're onboarding a Hispanic.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Person.
All right, guys, man, this was fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
for
sorry
sure.
we can't get to anything else. We've had Alie for an hour, and I know she's really busy, so we're gonna let her get off here. She has promised to come back and do part 2, maybe part 3.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
fun.
Maybe you can be a regular.
Yeah, yeah, we can just once a month is VA with Alie, so, on Goat Talk. So, but it sounds like there's a lot to learn. Really,
Yeah.
super lot. So you're going to come back in and post a link with the best way to get in touch with you if people are interested in your disposition service or anything else regarding VAs or anything. You might be able to farm your lead VA out to do some training, so do some arbitrage there. So.
All right.
All right, great. Alie, thanks so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate you much. And,
yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
This was great.
Your willingness to share. Sorry we didn't get the screen share today, but we're going to send you a message when we get off of here and book this second. We'll try to do it as soon as you're available.
Great.
Okay, sounds good. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, guys. That is it for this edition of Goat Talk. Fantastic today. A lot of information on VAs.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. So, guys, subscribe while you're over here on YouTube if you are. Of course, like us on Facebook and that sort of thing. We'll be back next week with another edition in the January segments that we're doing on how to make 2022 your best year ever in real estate. We appreciate all of you guys. We're going to get off of here and get ready for our mastermind. If you are already in the Sub2 forum, good for you. We're glad to have you there. If you're not and you're interested in the absolute best subject to and creative finance training on the planet for $7 a month, join us.
Can't beat that.
You can go to $7coaching.com. Where else can you get that kind of training? So, anyway, good to see y'all. Y'all get out there.
Sorry for all the distractions.
Yeah, all the distractions. I know we're in the. We're what did Zach say? We look like we're in the fortress.
Fortress of Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
all right. You guys have
they
a
don't
great
know we're
day.
live.
And
all right.